Hey everybody, welcome back to Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. Today we're doing something a little different. I've got some things to get off my chest, so let's get started on today's video. Hey everybody, if you've not seen Jess's video over on Roots and Refuge called A Rant, I highly encourage you to go watch it. There has been somewhat of a movement started by that video. There's several of us that want to talk about some of the stuff that she talked about. If you don't know, she had gotten some bad soil. She says it's not the fault of the people that sent it to her because she's bought from them for years. But they have refunded all of her money. And it was a lot of soil she bought. She put it for her high tunnel. One of the things she talked about was being a raindrop in a big pool. And she talked about how overwhelming that can be. You feel like you're just one person. What can I do to make a difference? That's why we're all doing these videos. I'll be sure and link some of the videos, including Jess's video, in the description below so y'all can go watch it. You know, my garden, little as it wasn't much, but it has really struggled this year from the heat. I've learned some lessons this year that I know that I need to move my garden to a different spot, either in the fall or next spring, because they're getting too much sunlight. As most of the country, we have been in a severe heat wave down here. It was getting in the hundreds in May, and that is just unheard of. And it really scares me for what August is going to be like when we're supposed to have these type weathers. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning and it's already 90 degrees. So today is going to be another extremely hot day. Now, I have watered my garden. I've tried to do the best I can with it. Truth is, I'm on co-op water. I'm not on a well, unfortunately. The well that was here finally had just given out. I would love to eventually try to dig another well. Truth is, it's hard to have a well out here simply because the soil is so incredibly sandy. But that may definitely be coming in the future. You know, I've been saying since I started my channel about fake food and the things that they put in our food that are totally unnecessary. It does nothing for it except make sugar more addictive, because they put sugar in everything. Everything. Read the back of your boxes that you buy at the store. Sugar's in everything. You know, I got 4 chickens this year. Did y'all find you a place to hang out? Anybody want to say hi to our friends? Huh? You want to say hi to our friends? I'd love to have more. My coop is not big enough, and I'm going to have to buy a new coop next year simply because this one's falling apart. It was a used coop when I got it, and it wasn't well made. So we're looking to get a bigger coop so we can increase our chickens. But it's really hard when you feel like you're up against the wall. I'm surrounded by farms that the only crop they have anymore is hay. There's a lot of cattle here. Used to, people grew gardens, and you see that very little anymore. And it saddens me because they don't even try. And the way my garden is doing, I'm not totally convinced I didn't get a hold of some bad soil or some bad fertilizer. My peppers love the heat. They're not doing well in this crazy heat that we're having. Now, I could get all depressed and say, well, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore. But I'm not. This is just 1 year. It's the first year of being on my farm. Next year I can do better. I will have good composted chicken poop to put on my garden, and we're going to be getting eggs, hopefully. And you may think, well, we need to do bigger, we need to do better, we need to have more animals, we need to all this stuff. And I agree to an extent, but there are a lot of us, my husband and I, namely, even my parents are getting up there in years, and I am, as y'all all know, if you've been around my channel long, you know that my husband and I are both disabled. My husband has high functioning cerebral palsy. I have a lot of old injuries from my previous work, and so it's made it really hard to get out there and physically do all the stuff that I want to do. But I refuse to give up. I will do what I can to take care of my family. You see a lot of channels talking about the hard economic times that are coming, and I have to agree with them. You know, I've talked to folks that work in the banking industry that aren't just, you know, tellers. They're up there in management and stuff, high management, that said it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And you think, why is it that we as a country are going through all this? Well, we all know the stimulus didn't help. It was nice at the time, but if you watch any homesteading channels, prepping channels, even financial channels, you realize that everybody all over the country are either dealing with economic issues, they're dealing with, you know, gas prices that are ridiculous, that are only going to keep going up. You're dealing with food shortages and food prices. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I see plenty of food on my grocery shelves. There's usually only kind of this and that missing and what have you. But nobody can deny food has gone up. Eggs here to buy in the grocery store are over $4 a dozen. And that's the rock bottom eggs. That's not, you know, the fancy eggs. By the way, the fancy eggs aren't any better for you. They're all done in mass production. That's why I'm thankful for just my 3 little hens and a rooster, just because we'll have fresh eggs in the house. Because I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better. And I think we are all realizing that. If you ever get a chance, go do some research about the Great Depression. Very few people are still alive that remember all that, right? Go look it up. Because here's the thing that people don't understand when they say, oh, I hate history. If you don't know your history, then you're doomed to repeat it. And I'm afraid, I feel like in the last 3 years, we have been repeating some history. Probably longer than that, but I think it's become more evident in the last 3 years. Now, whether you believe in climate change, whether you think it's the Grand Solar Maximus or whatever they're calling it, whatever you think is causing this, we're hotter. We have broke countless records in the month of June for heat all over the country. We've had more devastating storms. I am honestly worried about our children's future. But you sit and think, well, what can I do? You can demand better. Now, I'm not talking about raiding anybody or even protesting, but you personally in your ecosystem can do better. We all can, right? And I think that is why so many of us have been called back to the land. So many of us, that we realize that if we don't do something for our family, then when the next Great Depression hits, some of the things you can do is how you vote. And I'm not talking party affiliation here. I want you to go and look at each candidate, at their records, what they've done in the past to make you think they would be good for our country, for our state, for your county, your city, wherever you're at. We as Americans have to demand better. We've let big business, big ag, and these people in power try to control us. And in some ways we don't even realize that they're doing it. Whether it's the food that's sold in the grocery stores, that everybody think, well, the FDA approved it, so it's got to be fine. No, my friends, it's not fine. When they say that putting poison in our soil, it's fine, it won't hurt anything. No, my friends, it's not fine. We as a nation have to do better. We have to speak up, not get on Facebook and rant. That doesn't do nothing to help nobody. Even getting here on YouTube and ranting really doesn't do anything, except it shows our voices as we stand together. When people love their politics more than they love their faith, or misguidedly draw their faith into their politics, and then you're just worshiping politics. You're not worshiping God. You're just not. I have opinions just like everybody else does. I tend to slide right in the middle. I see good in both parties, and I see evil in both parties. And us as a country have to do something. I don't care if that's writing your local congressman, your state representatives every day. Flood their office with your emails. One person, one raindrop can make a difference. Be that raindrop, because all of us being a raindrop will fill up an ocean. We can do this, my friends. We can say enough is enough, and we refuse to back down. When voices are loud enough, changes come. Be that one raindrop for your home, for your town, for your county, for your state, for your country. I'd like to thank Jess for making that video, because I think it lit a fire under a lot of us. Maybe we're tired, maybe we're wore out of all the infighting and craziness and politicking going on, that we realize is we as a country don't stand up and do something on our own, that it's never going to get better. And maybe you're doing something on your own. Just grow a small garden. Just buy at your farmers markets. Buy local sourced meat, because you can do this. We all can do it, whether you live in the city or live in the country. We all can do this. Be a student of history. That's why I've always enjoyed history in my life, because if you just look back, you can see where we're headed. Thank you so much for joining us today on Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. I know this is not my typical style video. I will be back next week with a new recipe and new ideas for you to help save money and live well. But I encourage you, be that raindrop. And if you'd like to create a video, all you need to do is put in the hashtag be a raindrop, and I'll be sure and show it in the description and everything. So Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time. God bless.